As of today, there are only 2 states with legalized recreational marijuana, Washington and Colorado, but there's an additional 20 states that have legalized medicinal marijuana. So nearly half the nation has legalized marijuana in some form. And already I'm seeing agencies taking different policy approaches in terms of continuing to train their dogs to detect marijuana, and there are agencies who have stopped that practice.
On a law enforcement perspective, it's very challenging because there's no way to test roadside if a person's under the influence of marijuana. You can tell if they've been under the influence of a drug or anything else through field sobriety tests, but to actually determine like alcohol, like a portable breath test, we don't have those kinds of equipment at this time.
For alcohol, obviously you have the standardized field sobriety tests. You also have pre-breath test instruments that give you an indicator of a person's level of intoxication and whether they should be placed under arrest or not. There are no such tools for the detection of marijuana presence or level of intoxication yet. So officers, unless they are a drug recognition expert, are a little bit at a loss as to forming a professional opinion on whether the person is intoxicated by the effects of marijuana.
The biggest issue that we see is the educational component. People feel like it isn't very harmful, it isn't a big deal, that they actually drive better when they actually have smoked marijuana.
For some reason, many in the general public are ambivalent towards marijuana smoking and then operating a motor vehicle as being a problem. And there are many people who say I drive better after I've smoked marijuana. I don't think it has any effect on me when I smoke marijuana. And we know that not to be true. But the problem is that is the perception among many.
So our teenagers are also in a position where we did some informal discussions with them, and they said, well, if it's legal, then it must not be dangerous anymore. So a lot of the perceptions, the education, we're really trying to battle back.
Well, for law enforcement specifically, I highly recommend agencies make A-RIDE training, standardized training for all of their officers. A-RIDE training is that intermediate training above and beyond standardized field sobriety testing, but not quite to the technical level of drug recognition expert training. And I know some agencies and some jurisdictions have already adopted A-RIDE training for all line officers, but many other jurisdictions have not. And that's a great tool in the toolbox for our officers to have that knowledge and skill set on how to detect and form a professional opinion that they can actually testify to in court whether a person is under the influence of any drug, not just marijuana. And it gives them that extra tool in the toolbox to make those decisions at roadside.
From a traffic safety perspective, we've been dealing with drugs roadside for many years, but now with the legalization, it's only making it even more difficult for us to address.